Demand?
It was a moment in court that's raising a whole lot of questions right now about what should and shouldn't be allowed during an arraignment. Heartbroken family of children killed in that horrible crash in Monroe County spoke directly to the judge before he decided on bond in that case. Take a listen.
We were supposed to be planning a birthday party for Zane, not a funeral.
And at least 6 of the victims' family members spoke out during that hearing. A judge ultimately setting bond for the accused driver, Marshella Chittister, at $1.5 million. And joining us this afternoon is attorney and retired Wayne County Judge Vonda Evans. So you're not connected to this criminal case, but you've handled many arraignments during your career. Now, when you saw the victims and victim survivors speaking out during that hearing, did that strike you as unusual or uncommon?
Well, let me just say this. This is a very tragic case, situation. As a circuit court judge, by the time I got there, they had already been arraigned, so I've never done an actual arraignment with setting bond. But the purpose of the arraignment is to make sure that the bond is not excessive and to make sure that the community is safe at large. And basically, that's what the judge did. Have I ever seen this done before? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
To allow the victims to be able to address a court. But the court can use anything. They can use a police report. They can use anything in order to determine what that bond should be and is this person a danger to the community. After I listened to it, the judge made his decision based only on the fact of the the deaths of the 2 individuals and the injuries. That was it. He didn't make it based on anything else. Yeah. But was it very different? Absolutely.
You know, I heard that from a couple of judges now that they hadn't seen this before, but they also tell me that the rules don't prohibit a judge or judicial officer from allowing that to happen.
Absolutely not. When you look at the statute, basically, the court rule says that the court can consider anything that determines that. It just is normally you just don't see that, but it was done in this time. But his ruling was based strictly on the deaths of these 2 children as well as the injuries of the other people that were involved.
What about this, Judge Evans? You know, some critics are saying that allowing family members to speak out so emotionally this early in the proceeding could be prejudicial.
Well, here's the situation. You know, hindsight is 20/20. The judge made a decision. There was probably a lot of the people from that community were there, and you know, maybe he didn't want this emotion to lead to some type of a fray. Yeah. So maybe he just gave them an opportunity to speak, to diffuse a potential situation. I don't know what happened. I wasn't there, but do I believe that what he did was appropriate? Absolutely. I don't think that he has anything to worry about with the JTC, which is the Judge Police.
Yeah. You know, we're seeing all types of hearings change with the dynamics because so many of them are on camera and online. People can join in online.
Yes.
We heard in this particular case, not only did people in the courtroom speak out, but during the proceeding, some people who were online also voiced their opinion. That was a little interesting because the judge didn't stop that.
Well, here's the situation. You know, we now have Zoom hearings, and so now it's not traditional anymore, okay? You can actually do a trial with people at home. Yeah. We never had that before. So it was very unusual, but at the same time, the judge did a fine job by being able to to diffuse maybe the tension in the courtroom and to base his decision only on the death of the 2 young people as well as the injuries. Yeah. That's what he said. He didn't base it on anything that anyone presented but that. But remember, there is always a recourse, and the defense attorney can do that by going and asking for a bond review, which is done a lot. And a judge of higher jurisdiction, that being a circuit court judge, can't overrule or modify that ruling.
Judge Vonda Evans, thank you so much for your time and helping us put this into perspective. Such a tragic case, and you know, we'll be following it. We may call on you again for some of your legal expertise.
I'm a phone call away. Thank you.
Thank you. Karen?
All right, thanks, Damon.